Hello there you guys, welcome to another one of my live videos, and today I'm just going to be officially updating you on some more current latest news. So if you do consider drop your likes, and if you do consider subscribe to the channel as always. So first topic of the development, I'm going to give you an update on is in regards to David De Gea. So we do know David De Gea has only got 1 year remaining on his contract with Manchester United. We do know that David De Gea now has been at Manchester United 8 seasons of course, and he has been a great servant to the club. But recent reports are now coming out saying that David De Gea is demanding that he wants around £400,000 a week from Manchester United if he is to sign a new contract with the club, and if he is to commit his long-term future with Manchester United. And we do know now for quite a while that Manchester United have been negotiations of trying to get David De Gea a new contract, but reports do say now that Ed Woodward is refusing to meet David De Gea's wage demands, and this is why we have not come to an agreement to get David De Gea a new contract at the club. But as we all do currently know, this has been a problem for Manchester United. We've been letting far too many players' contracts run down. Obviously, we've let Ander Herrera go on a free transfer. Obviously, we have not yet, come to an agreement to get Marcus Rashford a new deal, and he's only got 1 year remaining on his deal as Marcus Rashford. Obviously, it was a bad mistake for Manchester United, giving the likes of Smalling a new long-term contract, giving Phil Jones a new long-term contract, and giving Ashley Young a 1 year extension. But I hope somewhere along the line, we can come to an agreement to get David De Gea a new contract. And obviously, in this 8-year period, he has been at Manchester United. He hasn't really stepped a foot out of line as David De Gea. Okay, we know most recently he has been in a bit of a bad vein of form as David De Gea. He has been making costly errors as David De Gea, but I think it's mainly something to do with the contract situation. But I think he's going through a bad period at the moment. Is David De Gea, but he's been here 8 seasons. He has made over 300 odd appearances in all competitions. He's won everything here domestically. He's won the club's player of the year 4 times out of the last 5 seasons. He's won the Smack Buzzer player of the year 3 times out of the last 4 seasons as David De Gea. So he has been a fantastic servant to the club as De Gea, and he's still potentially the best goalkeeper in the world. But obviously, if we can't come to an agreement, if we cannot come to an agreement to get David De Gea a new contract, obviously we'll want to cash in for him this summer rather than let him go on a free transfer in the summer of 2020, because I think that would be a calamity. If we let David De Gea go on a free transfer, but we have not yet come to an agreement to get him a new contract. So De Gea wants around £400,000 a week, so he wants to be the highest paid player at the club alongside Alexis Sanchez. In his current deal at the moment, De Gea is on about £200,000 a week, so he is demanding a £200,000 pay rise if he is to sign a new contract with the club. We do know PSG have been linked to him. We do also know that Real Madrid have been long admirers of him. Obviously, reflecting back in 2015, Real Madrid were on the brink of getting David De Gea, but due to a fax machine, the deal currently never materialised. But if De Gea, of course, is to go, we're going to need a replacement for him. I know we've got the likes of Sergio Romero, but Sergio Romero, I don't think is reliable enough as yet to become our number one goalkeeper. He was very, very impressive in the FA Cup games, this season though, was Sergio Romero. We also do, I think, Dean Henderson as well. Obviously, he's on loan at Sheffield United at the moment, but I don't think he's got the experience yet, Dean Henderson. I know we've got Lee Grant, but Lee Grant, I think we'll probably get rid of him in the summer. I think we got him last summer from Stoke City, was it? Lee Grant. So who could replace David De Gea if David De Gea is to depart the club this summer? So there has been a name mentioned in the media, and he's called Andrea Onana. Is the Ajax goalkeeper. He's only 23 years of age. Reports do say that Manchester United have reportedly had a £35 million bid turned down for him. He's a Cameroon international. I think Ajax, value him at around 35 or 40 million pounds, but Man United have identified him as a possible replacement for David De Gea. But I think in the past 3 seasons, I think Andrea Onana in the past 3 seasons he's had his worth of experience as Ajax's starting goalkeeper. So he has got the experience as this Andrea Onana. Don't really know much about him, to be quite honest with you. But Ajax have got a really, really good young squad. Obviously, we do know Manchester United are still in for De Ligt, but De Ligt's probably going to cost you probably around 60 or 70 million pounds. At least you're not going to get De Ligt on the cheap. But he has got the experience, this Andrea Onana. So do you believe he would be a good replacement replacement for David De Gea. And obviously we do know that other goalkeepers' names have been mentioned in the past. Reflecting back, was it 3 or 4 weeks ago? I think Jan Oblak had been currently mentioned, and I think I'll give you an update on it. Jan Oblak, of course, as you all know, is the Atletico Madrid goalkeeper. It did say 3 or 4 weeks ago Manchester United were willing to trigger his £100 million buyout clause he's got in his deal with Atletico Madrid. We do know most recently that Jan Oblak has just signed a new deal with Atletico Madrid. I think he also got a pay rise on his buyout clause, but he recently signed a new deal, so I think he's under contract with Atletico Madrid until 2023. Is Jan Oblak. He is 26 years of age. I think he's a really, really good goalkeeper. He's highly experienced. I won't put him in the same calibre or level as David De Gea, Jan Oblak, but it did say Man United were willing to trigger his £100 million buyout clause he's got in his deal with Atletico Madrid. But analysing it throughout the course of this season, I think it's only been Liverpool's Alisson that's kept as many clean sheets as Jan Oblak. So Jan Oblak is a good shot stopper. He doesn't really concede a lot of goals. So yeah, I think he'd be the right solution, as a replacement for David De Gea with Jan Oblak. But he is going to cost you, quite a bit of money. He has been at Atletico Madrid about 5 seasons now, I think, as Jan Oblak. Obviously, he's a former Benfica player, 26 years of age, so he is 2 years younger than David De Gea. But he was spoken about 3 or 4 weeks ago. We do know that in the past that Everton's Jordan Pickford has been mentioned, but I think he's going to cost you around £60 million. Jordan Pickford got a contract with Everton until 2024. Obviously, had a really, really good World Cup last summer with England. Jordan Pickford. So there has been quite a few goalkeepers mentioned, but the latest name to be mentioned is Andrea Onana. He's only young. He's 23 years of age. He has had for the past 3 seasons he's worthy of the experience as Ajax's starting goalkeeper. So yeah, he's currently been mentioned in the media, but we definitely need a replacement for David De Gea, of course, if he is currently to leave. But we've not yet come to an agreement to get him a new contract. He wants £400,000 a week, but Ed Woodward is refusing to meet his current wage demands, of course. And we've got Alexis Sanchez on £400,000 a week, rising up to £500,000 a week. I think it is based on the image rights and the bonuses and stuff like that. I think it goes up to like £500,000 a week, but it's looking likely anyway. We're going to get rid of Alexis Sanchez. Obviously, we can't get rid of him permanently, based on his astronomical wages. Obviously, as we all do know, there has been talks going on at least in the last couple of days in the media, saying that Inter Milan and Juventus have expressed their interest in him. And obviously, we do know that Inter Milan and Juventus have been in negotiations with Alexis Sanchez's agent, because obviously Sanchez's agent has currently been in Italy, of course. But I think Sanchez has agreed the pay cut. Manchester United intending on sanctioning him off on a 1-season loan, and Manchester United are willing, as I said, are willing to pay him half of his wages off. But we do know Sanchez is one of the problematic players at the club. Hasn't exceeded expectation levels as I think the vast majority of Manchester United fans thought he would have done. Reflecting back, what he did at Arsenal. Obviously, when he was younger, he played under Pep Guardiola, did Sanchez. But since Sanchez has been at Manchester United, he's become an injury-prone player. I think he's sustained about 4 injuries. But I thought he'd have been a fundamental player, Alexis Sanchez, but it just currently hasn't materialised, of course. And as I said, he's become an injury-prone player for Manchester United. But I think his wages, anyway, really having a bad effect on the club. He's the highest paid player at the club. He's the highest paid player in the Premier League, and he doesn't have a future now at the club anyway. He's 30 years of age. He has lost that yard of pace. So I think it will be likely next season he'll be playing his trade in Italy with either Inter Milan or Juventus. It's them 2 teams that are battling out for Alexis Sanchez. But Sanchez had experience of playing in Italy, when he was young, with Udinese, as we all know. So yeah, that's one good piece of news that we are sanctioning Alexis Sanchez off, of course. So yeah, but as I said, the problem for Manchester United is we've been letting far too many contracts run down, as I said earlier on in the video. But maybe another main factor reason why David De Gea may want to leave the club, because maybe a goalkeeper of his calibre wants to be playing to the highest level, wants to be up there winning trophies, of course, and challenging as well. And Manchester United are a number of years off doing that. But yeah, he's been a fantastic servant of the club as David De Gea. We do know he's potentially the best goalkeeper in the world, so we wouldn't want to see him go. But obviously, we can't come to an agreement to get him a new contract, and obviously, we've got to sell him this summer, because we can't let him go on a free in the summer of 2020. But I think either way, we could get around 80 or 90 million pounds over David De Gea. It did say a while about that PSG. He was linked with a 90 million pound move to PSG. It did actually say that PSG were willing to offer him around £450,000 a week. But yeah, we'll see what happens about that. But we have identified this Andre Onana as a replacement for him. Andre Onana's had 3 years worth of experience as Ajax's starting goalkeeper, so he has got the experience, but he is still only very, very young, and he's 23, valued at around 35 or 40 million pounds. But Manchester United have reportedly had a 35 million pound bid turned down for him. So other news to give you an update on, as I said, and it's looking likely, Manchester United are closing in on a deal, for Swansea City's Daniel James, as I've been updating you about that on a regular basis, because obviously, stories broke out about this last week saying that Manchester United, were close to agreeing a £15 million deal for Daniel James, and that is a reasonable figure. And as I do keep saying, it's not all about, getting the Galactico players, it's not all about spending big on players, because it doesn't always guarantee you success and doesn't always get you in that commanding position, where you do currently want to be. Because we do know Manchester United have got an history of spending big on players. We did it with Lukaku, 75 million, Paul Pogba at 89 million, of course. And and we do know that Daniel James is a surprise solution, is a low expectation, is a cheap acquisition. But I do believe, £15 million is a reasonable figure. But the big question is, has Daniel James, got the capabilities? Has he got the attributes, to come and succeed in the Premier League? And can he meet them expectation levels? And that is the question. He's still very, very young. He's only 21 years of age. He's a Welsh international. I think he's only got a year left on his deal with Swansea. I think he's played throughout the course of the season. I think he's played over 30 odd games for Swansea. But there has been quite a few teams that have attracted their interest in Daniel James. I think Leeds have been in for him, of course. Everton have been in for him. I think Leeds were on the brink of getting Daniel James, back in January. So it's looking likely he's going to be coming to Manchester United, and ultimately, I think he's currently going to be our first signing. Is Daniel James. He primarily plays on the wing, as you all know. He's mostly effective from that left-hand side. You can put him on the right, but I think he's mostly effective from that left-hand side. But can also play him as an attacking midfielder, can Daniel James. So yeah, it's looking likely we're going to get a deal over the line for him. Some Manchester United fans have said, basically with Daniel James, supposedly arriving, it could put Anthony Martial's future in even more serious jeopardy, because we do know, at least in the last week, we have been hearing that Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is ready to sanction Anthony Martial off. I don't think he's going to go now anywhere, because the Glazers have overruled Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's decision, to sell Anthony Martial. And obviously, the Glazers, Joe Glazer, he's a big admirer of Anthony Martial. It's his favourite current player, and Joe Glazer, views him as the club's Pele. And Joe Glazer, has confirmed, that he will be staying at the club, with Anthony Martial, because he did say that Solskjaer and Joe Glazer had a current disagreement on it. But I still believe that Anthony Martial is the long-term solution for Manchester United. I do believe he's a long-term solution for Manchester United. He's been at the club 4 years. We have seen glimpses of his best form in this 4-year period. We saw it early on this season. Obviously, he's failed to replicate that in the last couple of months. We saw it in his first season with Manchester United. He did really, really well. Man United got him in a deal worth around £36 million. We got him in a deal worth around £36 million, rising up to 57 or 58 million, based on goals and achievements. Obviously, Manchester United, given a new 5-year contract, back in January. But we do know that, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer did say he was ready to sell him off. I think the main reason why this happened is because I think, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, was frustrated with his bad attitude in training and, of course, his behaviour. But I think Anthony Martial, currently will be staying. But as I said, he was linked with a move away from United last year under Jose Mourinho, because obviously, he didn't have a great relationship with Jose Mourinho. Jose Mourinho wanted to sell him, but Ed Woodward, of course, had blocked this from materialising. So obviously now he's still at Manchester United, is Anthony Martial. But I know Martial mainly plays on that left-hand side, and we do know what he can be capable of on that left-hand side. But if Daniel James does come in, which is looking very, very likely, of course, we can rotate Anthony Martial and put him in more of a central position. So that's what I think, Manchester United will do. I don't think we'll get rid of Martial unless a team said there's 70 or 80 million pounds. Then we maybe would consider getting rid of Martial. But Martial's 23. He hasn't graduated at that level yet, but he has still got a lot of years ahead of him as Anthony Martial. But Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's made it clear, he's worked out our transfer strategy. He did say that he's had quite a few meetings, discussing about our recruitment. But Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, wants to bring a number of young players in, that can grow and develop, and emulate into superstars. So he's worked out his transfer strategy for this summer. And he still believes, we can attract players to the highest level, even though we're not in a Champions League football for next season, of course. He still believes, we can attract players to the highest level. There's Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. And as I did say, in the next couple of seasons, probably at least our aspirations are going to be that top four. Because I do believe we're at least 3 or 4 years off, from mounting any kind of title challenge up. But Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, made it clear, he wants to bring at least 5 new additions to the club this summer. I think we are expected to orchestrate a big summer clear out. Obviously, the players we do want to currently get rid of, the players I do want to get rid of, we're not going to be able to get rid of them all in one window. It will take a couple of windows, to address that problem. But as I said, you can see the deficiencies in the squad. You can identify the areas where Manchester United are lacking, and we've got to resolve these problems in the summer. But Solskjaer's reportedly going to get around £250 million this summer. But as I said, if we sell Lukaku, we sell Pogba, we sell De Gea, that's going to help us with our rebuilding process, and that will help us with our transition. Obviously, it's going to be hard to find a goalkeeper David De Gea's calibre anywhere. But do you believe that Andrea Onana, would be the right solution? I don't know, really. I can't really comment because I don't really know much about him. But I know he's 23 years of age. But obviously, we know the club is still looking to hire a director of footballing. Obviously, we've got to get this confirmed before the start of next season because we need to change the club's structure. And obviously, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is going to need backing this summer. I do know, obviously, it seems to have all gone wrong, since he has got the job permanently. Because reflecting back when he was the interim manager of the club, everything was going really, really well. The results were good, the performances were good. He was getting the best out of these players, and then expectation levels, were exceeded, in that 3-month period. And don't get me wrong, I'm still backing at the moment. But if this bad run of form, does continue to persist going on into next season, then I will be critical of Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. Then I will want him out of Manchester United without a shadow of a doubt. Then I will want him out of Manchester United without a shadow of a doubt. I don't know if Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's got the capabilities, to get us in that commanding position, of course, where we do currently want to be. Because let's be honest, he hasn't really got the managerial experience, not to the highest level. He had it as a player, but he hasn't really got the experience as manager Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. And we do know none of this squad's Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's. Because so basically, you can look at it that he's still in the process of rebuilding. Because none of this squad is Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's. He did, watch some of this team, grow and develop, when he was managing the Manchester United reserve team. But none of this squad at all is Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's. A lot of money has been spent at the club since Ferguson retired. We've had different managers with different philosophies. I'd say probably over £700 million has been spent. We've seen players come in. We've seen players go. But, just looking at our squad now from back to front is potentially not good enough. Defensively, we've got issues. Throughout the course of this season, we've conceded far too many goals. I do believe we need a striker, someone that can score goals, because we haven't been ruthless enough in front of goal. We haven't been clinical enough in front of goal. We haven't been scoring enough goals, and that's been another problem. And the likes of Martial and Rashford have not yet graduated to that level, and they're not trustworthy enough yet, to deliver us them goals that we do currently need. So we've got to sort this out in the summer. I have been hearing talks today, as well as I actually updated you on my previous video that I did in regards to Fulham's Ryan Sessegnon. Now, it did say that Manchester United had made initial contact with Fulham over the potential move for Ryan Sessegnon. Ryan Sessegnon is only very, very young. He's actually 19 today. So far, he has spent the entirety of his career with Fulham as Ryan Sessegnon. Has been in the senior squad a number of years now with Fulham. I think he's made over 100 senior appearances for Fulham, but he has got immense talent. I do really, really like Ryan Sessegnon. He was up Fulham's youth system for 8 years, but obviously he can play as a left back. He can also play as a left winger. I think now that Ryan Sessegnon is primarily a left winger, so I don't really see us getting Ryan Sessegnon in, because obviously we're on the verge of getting Daniel James, and obviously Daniel James is currently a left winger. But Ryan Sessegnon, I think he's been linked with Manchester United in the past quite a few times. He's also expressing interest from Tottenham. I think it also said that Juventus were interested in Ryan Sessegnon. I think Fulham are demanding that they want around £40 million, and that is a reasonable figure. But I think on that left-hand side we're okay anywhere, because obviously we've got Luke Shaw at left-back. Obviously, Luke Shaw won the Player of the Year, but we have been linked with Ryan Sessegnon in the past, and maybe now Ryan Sessegnon wants to be playing to the highest level, wants to go to a competitive elite level football club like Tottenham or wherever, because obviously he doesn't want to spend another season in the Championship. There's Ryan Sessegnon. Obviously, Fulham have been relegated. They're in the Championship next season, and that after only one season in the top flight for Fulham. So I think Ryan Sessegnon is determined to leave Fulham, and I probably think he'll end up going to Tottenham if I'm going to be quite honest with you. But yeah, it has said Manchester United have expressed an interest in him. But I do believe, we need a central defender, someone that can go alongside Victor Lindelof in our current back line. And De Ligt has been mentioned, from Ajax. De Ligt's only 19 years of age. The only defender, to actually, win the Golden Boy award. But he's not going to come cheap, is De Ligt. I think he's going to cost you at least around maybe 60, maybe even 70 million pounds. I think Barcelona are the leaders at the moment to get his signature. I think they're currently leading the race, because reports came out the other week saying that Barcelona, he did say that, De Ligt had agreed a deal, to join Barcelona. Obviously, De Ligt's agent, Riley Ola, had obviously, been negotiating with the Barcelona representatives, of finalising the current deal. So I do believe probably, De Ligt will end up, going to Barcelona. But he has been on Manchester United's agenda. I think Man United are still possibly, in for De Ligt. Obviously, so far, he spent the entirety of his career with Ajax. Obviously, he risen up their youth system, for a lot of years. Joined Ajax's youth academy at the age of 9. So being an Ajax player, since the age of 9, being in Ajax's senior squad, for a number of years now. And I think he became more of a first team starter, did De Ligt, when Davinson Sanchez departed for Tottenham. But yeah, very, very good defender, very, very young. Still got a lot of years ahead of him as De Ligt. But Edwin van der Sar, who's currently the CEO of Ajax, he came out, was it about 2 or 3 weeks ago, and he did say that he thinks De Ligt will either move to England or Spain. So he'll probably be playing his trade next season, either England or Spain. But it'll be looking likely it will be Spain, because I do think he'll end up going to Barcelona. I think that Liverpool have also, been interested in him. Also, Liverpool have been interested in him. And obviously, he knows Virgil van Dijk very, very well. Imagine, De Ligt and Virgil van Dijk and centre-back partnership, from a Liverpool perspective, that would be really, really good. But I do think he's going to be going to Barcelona, is De Ligt. But yeah, immense talent, holds his line very, very well. And I do really, really like De Ligt. And obviously, Barcelona have already got, De Ligt's teammate, Frankie de Jong, on the board. Obviously, we do know Barcelona and Ajax had agreed a £75 million fee last summer, for Frankie de Jong. So Frankie de Jong's going to be officially a Barcelona player, of course. And yes, I think probably Barcelona are the leading contenders, to get a deal over the line of Frankie de Jong. But Manchester United are still definitely, in there for him. Other central defenders Manchester United have been interested in, of course. We do know Koulibaly is now reportedly our number one target. I'd love him to come in, Koulibaly. It would be fantastic for us. Obviously, we'd probably have to break the world transfer record, to get a deal over the line for Koulibaly. Obviously, Koulibaly has been at Napoli 5 seasons. Obviously, he hasn't had any experience of playing in the Premier League as Koulibaly, but I do believe he's got all the capabilities, he's got all the attributes, to succeed in the Premier League. He's quick, he's tenacious, he's very, very good in the air, he's highly experienced, nearly 28 years of age, been on Manchester United's agenda now for quite a while. Obviously, we had 3 bids, turned down for him last year, Koulibaly. Obviously, we tried getting him in January, but with Napoli were reluctant to sell him. But I do believe if he came to the Premier League, he would produce and deliver the same element of the performances, that he has been doing in his number of years in Italy with Napoli. He has got a contract with Napoli till 2023. I think his initial release clause is around £110 million, but we probably would have to break the world transfer record to get a deal over the line for him. I don't think Man United would be intending on paying 120 or 130 million pounds for Koulibaly. Maybe Man United would try and get him for around 80 or 85 million pounds or something like that. But yeah, I hope, there has been positive news, coming out about Koulibaly. I think he'd be a fantastic leader in our backline alongside Victor Lindelof. He'd be absolutely fantastic indeed. Some people are saying we need 2 central defenders, and I believe maybe we do need 2 central defenders, because I do believe the likes of Smalling and Jones are not good enough, to represent Manchester United. Smalling's been a long-serving player with the club. Jones has been a long-serving player at the club, and I just don't think they're no longer good enough, to represent Manchester United. As I said, bad mistake giving Smalling a new long-term contract, bad mistake giving Jones a new long-term contract as well, and they're not good enough for Manchester United. In regards to Eric Bailly, I think he's probably, going to be going this summer. Manchester United are looking to recruit the initial... What are you doing, Bev? Manchester United are looking to recruit the initial £30 million we paid for him from Villarreal back in 2016. And when Bailly first came to the Premier League, he burst into the scenes. He did really, really well. But as I said, a bit reflecting on his fallout with managers and these injuries he has sustained, it's had a bad effect on Eric Bailly's career. So I think he could be on his way. I think he's just become too injury prone, to be quite honest with you. Isn't now a first choice anyway. So I think we need to get Eric Bailly out, even though I still highly rate him. We do know Marcos Rojo's going. That's good news. Well, I think he will be going, which is very, very good news. We can cash in for him. You know, we can cash in for Darmian as well. So we could get around £30 million, you know, for Matteo Darmian and Marcus Rojo. But yeah, Koulibaly would be my number one. I'd love Harry Maguire to come in. I don't think Manchester United are intending on breaking the world transfer record for Harry Maguire. Even though he was previously valued at around 70 or was it £80 million, Harry Maguire. Obviously well Premier League proven, been at Leicester a couple of seasons now. But yeah, I do really, really like him, of course. Signed a new long-term contract with Leicester last summer, so he's under contract with Leicester until 2023. But reports were saying that Manchester United were set to revive their interest in him. Obviously, you know, we were linked to with Harry Maguire last summer. But obviously, our priority last summer was to recommend the centre-back to come in. But obviously, you know, last summer, the board weren't back in the signings. You know, Jose Mourinho wanted to recommend to come in to the club because obviously Jose Mourinho had bad disputes with the board. But talking about Harry Maguire, I wouldn't put him in, you know, Koulibaly's level, but I still think he'd be a great leader in our backline. He's 26, he's still in his prime. He's highly experienced as well, and he has still got a lot of years ahead of him, Harry Maguire. Obviously, he's a former Hull City player. I think he also had a loan spell with Wigan. I think he actually, you know, began his career with Sheffield United. But Man United have got the financial power, you know, to meet Harry Maguire's valuation. He's probably going to cost you at least maybe 60 or 70 million pounds, and we have got the financial power, you know, to currently double Harry Maguire's wages. So yeah, there has been a lot of talks about him, and I'd love Harry Maguire and Koulibaly in our central defensive area. That would be fantastic. But actually, you know, Carlo Ancelotti regarded Koulibaly as one of the best centre backs in the world, and he is one of the best centre backs in the world. I don't think he is the best in the world, but I think he's definitely, you know, one of the best centre backs in the world. I think Virgil van Dijk's been better than Koulibaly this season. Virgil van Dijk cost Liverpool £75 million, the most expensive defender at the moment, but he's addressed Liverpool's defensive deficiencies, you know, fantastically well. He's been absolutely fantastic for Liverpool, and I'd say throughout the course of this season, he has been better than Koulibaly, and yeah, but Koulibaly, of course, still remains number one. We do know a lot of United fans would like to see Toby Alderweireld, you know, get recommended to come in, because we do know financially, looking at it, you know, he is a cheap alternative this summer, available for £25 million, because that's his current release clause, you know, Alderweireld. But I don't think Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is intending on bringing any short-term players to the club. And Alderweireld, of course, is 30 years of age, obviously. I've got reservations about him now. He has lost that yard of pace. Don't get me wrong, he's well Premier League proven. No, he has proven that he can be a world-class central defender, because he has been at Tottenham a number of years. Obviously, former Southampton player, where I think he had a loan spell with Southampton, you know, did Toby Alderweireld. Obviously, as we all know as well, I think when he was younger, he played for Atletico Madrid. I think he began his career with Ajax. But yeah, I don't think we're intending on bringing him in to the club, you know, Toby Alderweireld. So yeah, there has been quite a few central defenders mentioned, but we've got to get at least one in this summer, and Koulibaly, you know, just would be absolutely fantastic indeed. And talking about, you know, Romelu Lukaku. Now, obviously, we do know that Lukaku, he's been linked. I think he could be on his way out of Manchester United this summer, could Lukaku. And obviously, we do know Lukaku's been linked to a move to Italy. We do know the likes of, you know, Juventus and Inter Milan have also been interested in Romelu Lukaku. But I don't think Lukaku's got the capabilities, if I'm going to be quite honest with you, you know, to play to the highest level. He hasn't really got it, Romelu Lukaku. You know, he hasn't got the capabilities, you know, to play to the highest level. His touch concerns me. I have got strong reservations about him. He's 25 years of age, is Romelu Lukaku. You know, he has still got a lot of years ahead of him. But as I did say, he did well in his first season with Manchester United. You know, he scored 27 goals in all competitions, did Romelu Lukaku, but he's failed to replicate that throughout the course of this season, because he's enjoyed a difficult season, because initially he has lost his place in the team. We do know, Marcus Rashford has been first choice ahead of Romelu Lukaku. Manchester United, of course, paid big money for him. You know, paid £75 million for him, plus 15 million in add-ons, which had risen the deal to £90 million. He's still got 3 years left in his contract, as I said. He's on about £250,000 a week, but I think Solskjaer was set to have negotiations with Lukaku. Lukaku's agent, you know, revealed a while back that his future is very, very open, is Romelu Lukaku's. But as I did currently say, I just don't think he's good enough to represent Manchester United, and I think, you know, it would be beneficial, you know, if we could cash in for Romelu Lukaku. So he could be either going to, you know, Juventus or Inter Milan, because as I did say, Lukaku admitted a while back, you know, about his dream playing in the Serie A. So I do believe, you know, we should cash in for him, but I've got reservations about him. He's a big game bottler. His first touch concerns me, of course, and he hasn't got that endless potential. His finishing concerns me, so I've got a lot of strong reservations about him. But his pedigree is still very, very good in the Premier League. He has scored a lot of goals in the Premier League, but I do believe we need to get rid of Romelu Lukaku. And obviously, if Lukaku leaves, we've identified a couple, quite a few players, who could possibly replace him. Obviously, there has been a lot of talks about Juventus' Paulo Dybala, going on. Talking about Paulo Dybala though, from Juventus, I've got reservations about Paulo Dybala, and Paulo Dybala I think is actually the same age as Romelu Lukaku, because I think Paulo Dybala is 25, so Paulo Dybala has still got a lot of years ahead of him. Obviously, Paulo Dybala has been at Juventus 4 years. He has been at Juventus 4 years, and we have seen glimpses of his best form in his 4 years with Juventus, of course. But I've still got reservations about him. When it comes to his defensive abilities, he can score goals. Can Paulo Dybala? Reports came out the other week saying that Man United were in talks, to Juventus to make a possible move for Paulo Dybala. And I think the reported fee was around £85 million. It did allegedly say that Paulo Dybala was in London. As you all know, quite a few, was it 3 or 4 days ago, whenever it was, it did say Man United could use Sanchez, to sign Paulo Dybala this summer. So there was talks of Sanchez and Paulo Dybala as a potential swap deal. We do know that swap deals are very, very rare to the highest level. We do know swap deals are very, very rare. But talking about Paulo Dybala, he has been on Manchester United's agenda now for some time. Obviously, he's won 4 Serie A's and 3 Coppa Italians, in his 4-year period with Juventus. But there has been rumours saying he could leave, and I think Paulo Dybala may be willing to leave Juventus, of course. But he has been on Manchester United's agenda. I don't know though if he would be the right solution for Manchester United, because they have currently got concerns about him. So I don't know, to be quite honest. Everyone's allowed their opinion. As we all do know as well, there has been a lot of talks about Antoine Griezmann as well, but I think Antoine Griezmann is intending on going to Barcelona. I think he's going to go to Barcelona, as Antoine Griezmann, even though reports came out, was it yesterday, saying that Manchester United are in for Antoine Griezmann. It did say Manchester City were interested in him. It did say Bayern Munich were interested in him. If I'm right, I think it said that also PSG had expressed their interest in Griezmann, but obviously I think PSG have got some kind of financial problems, haven't they? I don't think, PSG could afford Griezmann anywhere, because obviously in the past 2 seasons, they spent big on 2 players. Neymar, they spent big. Obviously, Kylian Mbappe, they spent big, of course. And obviously, Griezmann is French, of course, but obviously he's never played, in France, of course, with the likes of PSG are out. But talking about Antoine Griezmann, to be quite honest with you, I do think he's going to. I do think he's going to be going to Barcelona. If I'm going to be quite honest with you, obviously, as we all know, Barcelona were on the verge of getting Griezmann last summer, but obviously, Griezmann signed a new long-term contract with Atletico Madrid last summer, and he's under contract with Atletico Madrid now. I think until 2023. We do know Griezmann revealed earlier on this week that he's definitely leaving the club. So he did make an admission, saying that he's going to be leaving the club. Is Antoine Griezmann. Obviously, so far he has spent the entirety of his career in Spain. Obviously, he's been Atletico Madrid 5 seasons. I think he's scored about 133 goals in 256 appearances for Atletico Madrid. But so far, he has spent the entirety of his career in Spain as Antoine Griezmann. As we all do currently know, his release clause is around 170 odd million pounds, but it does currently reduce Antoine Griezmann's release clause. I think it reduces to about 105 or 106 million pounds from 170 odd million pounds. So it does reduce by about 60 odd million pounds or something like that. But I think Barcelona are going to end up getting Antoine Griezmann, so it'd be looking likely he'll continue applying his trade in Spain. Will Griezmann, he is 28 years of age. I wouldn't call him a Galactico player now as he used to be. Obviously he's aging up a bit now, he's Griezmann, but he still can score goals. He's a prolific goal scorer, of course, and I don't think he'll come to Manchester United anyway. I don't think he'll go to City or out. I think he will go to Barcelona, because they are the favourites, to currently land him. It did initially say that Griezmann will earn around £15 million a year when he goes to Barcelona. I think Barcelona have offered him a contract until 2024 with them. At the moment, he's on about 20 million a year with Atletico Madrid. He's on about 20 million a year with Atletico Madrid. Is Antoine Griezmann. So probably in looking at that, it does decrease by £5 million. So he will be on about £15 million a year with Barcelona. But looking back 2 years ago, Manchester Manchester United, nearly got a deal over the line for Antoine Griezmann, but obviously, due to the transfer ban that Atletico Madrid got, obviously, we failed in our pursuit, for Antoine Griezmann, so we didn't get a deal over the line for him, because at the time, we had number 7 vacant, we're looking for someone, to fulfill that number 7 shirt, and obviously, Griezmann was the ideal player, but obviously we couldn't get him, as I said, due to the transfer ban. So yeah, I think Griezmann's going to be going to Atletico Madrid, sorry, not Atletico Madrid, Barcelona, sorry. And other targets that have been mentioned, we do know Wilfried Zaha has been mentioned at least in the last 2 or 3 days, from Crystal Palace. It did say Wilfried Zaha, would be willing, to make a return to Manchester United. And I did say Manchester United are considering, making a move, to re-sign Wilfried Zaha. I think it is Manchester United and Arsenal that are battling it out for Wilfried Zaha. I think it also said that Borussia Dortmund have expressed their interest in Wilfried Zaha, but I don't see Wilfried Zaha going abroad, to be quite honest with you. But we do know a couple of days ago, he made an admission, did Wilfried Zaha. He told Crystal Palace, he informed Crystal Palace, that he does currently want to leave the club. Obviously, one of the main reasons why he wants to leave the club, Wilfried Zaha, because obviously, he wants to be playing to the highest level, and he wants to be in Champions League football, does Wilfried Zaha. So I think he wants to take his career to the next level, does Wilfried Zaha, because maybe he believes and he's got confidence in himself that he is good enough now, and he wants to go to an elite competitive football club, there's Wilfried Zaha, because he knows himself he's never going to experience, playing to the highest level or playing in Champions League football, with Crystal Palace. But it is Man United and Arsenal that are battling it out for him. I think Arsenal are they are the favourites, to probably, land Wilfried Zaha at the moment. The quoted fee is around £100 million that currently Crystal Palace want for him, and that is a lot of money, to be quite honest with you. But obviously, do you think he'd do well if he came back to Manchester United, Wilfried Zaha? And obviously, we do know we had him when he was younger, he had a 2-year spell at Old Trafford, but never really got the opportunities, never really made any kind of impact. Obviously, we paid £10 million for him. Obviously, we got him in Ferguson's last season. That was actually, Alex Ferguson's last current signing. We paid around £10 million for him, but it didn't work out for him. And initially, he began his career with Crystal Palace. He has spent the majority of his career anywhere with Crystal Palace so far as Wilfried Zaha. Obviously, he had a loan spell, I know, with Cardiff, didn't he? So obviously, he's played under Ole Gunnar Solskjaer as Wilfried Zaha. He has played under Ole Gunnar Solskjaer as Wilfried Zaha, so maybe Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, maybe looking to reunite with Wilfried Zaha. But he's been fantastic, since he signed permanently, for Crystal Palace in 2015. I think there is a sell-on clause on the deal, and there was a talk saying that if Crystal Palace, do sell Wilfried Zaha this summer, Manchester United, would receive around 15 million or 20 million, as I just said, due to the sell-on clause. He's a winger. He can also play as a forward, but I think he's primarily a forward is Wilfried Zaha. And I think that's where the majority of his goals come from. So Man United and Arsenal are battling it out for him. Obviously, Arsenal didn't get top 4, but if Arsenal, do beat Chelsea in the Europa League final, they're in Champions League football for next season. So there has been a lot of talks, going on about Wilfried Zaha. We do know there's been talks about Moussa Dembele, as you all know as well from Lyon. There has been reports coming out about him in the last couple of days saying that Man United are willing to put a bid in of around 40 million for him. He's rated at around 40 odd million pounds anywhere. Moussa Dembele. Only this season, it's only been his first season in France, but he has been very, very impressive. Obviously, he's a former Celtic player. He's a former Fulham player. He's Moussa Dembele. Don't really know much about him. I know he's 22 years of age, and he is very, very young. He's Moussa Dembele. So he has been on Manchester United's agenda. So do you think he'd be a good replacement for Romelu Lukaku if he was to come in? And he has got a contract with Lyon until 2023. Lyon paid around £20 million for him from Celtic, but he was very, very good. When he played, for Celtic, he had 2 good years in Scotland. But let's be honest, the Scottish League is a pub league because there's only one team in Scotland, and that is currently Celtic. So yeah, we've been in for Moussa Dembele. There has been a lot of talks about that going on. Borussia Dortmund's Jadon Sancho. I know a lot of Manchester United fans, want Jadon Sancho to come in, but I don't think Jadon Sancho will be coming in, obviously, because we're not in Champions League football for next season. Don't get me wrong, I like Jadon Sancho a lot. Obviously, he's been the club's #1 priority target, for quite a while now, as Jadon Sancho, and I do really, really like him. He can play between the bylines, he can score goals, he can provide, he's got immense talent as Jadon Sancho, and I think he'd blend in our attacking line very, very well, and I think he'd develop better if he was to make a return back to the Premier League. I think it would create a better platform form for him, if I'm going to be honest with you. But I think it's likely going on into next season he will continue to be applying his trade in Germany. Obviously, you know, he used to play for Manchester City, you know, where he did serve a couple of seasons, but never really got the chance at Manchester City, you know, Jadon Sancho. And this is one of the main factor reasons why he left City. And of course, you know, went to Borussia Dortmund. He has got a contract with Borussia Dortmund until 2022. And he's rated at around £100 million as Jadon Sancho. Man United were willing to pay the £100 million valuation, of course, because we've got the financial power, you know, to meet that. But obviously, I don't think Jadon Sancho wants to leave Borussia Dortmund. I think he remains happy at Borussia Dortmund for the time being, and I think he's intending on spending at least another season with Borussia Dortmund. So, looking like we've missed out on Jadon Sancho. Obviously, we do know we need a right back. You know, we need someone to replace Valencia. You know, we need an upgrade to Ashley Young. We need an upgrade to Ashley Young, of course. We need a cover up for Diego Dalot. And I think Aaron Wan-Bissaka, you know, would be fantastic for us. I think it came out a while back saying that Aaron Wan-Bissaka is committed to Palace. He's intending on spending at least another season with Crystal Palace's Aaron Wan-Bissaka. But so far, he spent the entirety of his career with Crystal Palace. But he's only been in senior squad like 15 or is it 16 months, something like that. Anyway. And he's only 21 years of age, so he's very, very young. And I think his defensive abilities are very, very good. And I think he's got the ability to elevate Manchester United at least in the next 2 to 3 years. So I do believe he would be fantastic for us. I think he's initially valued at around 35 or 40 million pounds. Is Aaron Wan-Bissaka. So yeah, there has been a lot of talks about him going on. And I do believe we need new additions in that midfield. Of course, you know, we need a replacement for Pogba. We need a replacement for Fernando Herrera. I do believe we need a centre defensive midfielder that's fast and tenacious, of course. And yeah, and Paul Pogba's probably going to be going. I think Man United don't want to sell Pogba anywhere, but I think we're demanding, if we are willing to do any business, I think we want around £160 million Paul Pogba. But I still believe he's going to be making his dream move to Real Madrid. I have been hearing reports saying that Paul Pogba is willing to take a pay cut because obviously, you know, Real Madrid are not willing to meet his £13 million a year wage demands, and this is what's obviously, you know, had stumbling block in negotiations between Pogba and Real Madrid. And it did say Real Madrid were not willing to match his £290,000 a week wages. It did say a while back that Pogba was demanding £500,000 a week for Manchester United if he was to sign a new contract and he was to commit his long-term future with the club. But yeah, I definitely, you know, think Paul Pogba is on his way out, of course. And, you know, we do know he's still one of the best midfielders in the world. And, you know, we have seen glimpses of Paul Pogba's best form. Don't get me wrong, we have seen glimpses of Paul Pogba's best form. You know, we mainly, you know, saw it in that 3-month period, you know, when Ole Gunnar Solskjaer was the interim manager, and we mainly saw the best of Paul Pogba when Ander Herrera, of course, was playing. So that just emphasises how much of an impact, you know, Ander Herrera, you know, did make in that midfield. But Paul Pogba, you know, still got 3 years left on his deal with Manchester United, but I think it would be beneficial, you know, if we got rid of him. Maybe one of the main factor reasons why he wants to lead the club, because he wants to be playing to the highest level, maybe wants to be playing amongst better players as well, and wants to be, you know, up there challenging and winning silverware, of course. And this is maybe one of the reasons why Paul Pogba wants to leave. Dad, what are you doing? What? No. What score did City win? Huh? What score did City win? 6-0. Did they? Yeah. They won treble. Fucking hell. Yeah. Yeah.
It's first time the English treble's been done.
Yeah.
Because they're all English trophies, whereas when we did it, one were European one.
Yeah.
They want that. They've took out lots of everything.
Yeah.
The sweat board clean, they've done that.
Yeah.
6-0. I thought it was going to be about 4 now. You and me being better all day long. Fucking 6 now. Fucking hell.
And yeah, just got my information that City have just beaten Watford by 6 goals to 0 in the FA Cup final. Didn't really watch it, but we'll catch up with the highlights anyway. So, yeah, that's been everything to update today. Drop your comments and highlights below on the channel. As I was saying, I think Paul Pogba's going to leave. We're going to need a replacement for him. We're going to need a replacement for Fernando Herrera. So now, obviously, Man City have won 6-0 against Watford. They have won the treble. Of course, they've won the FA Cup. They've won the Premier League, and they have currently won the Capital One Cup. And I think it's the first time an English treble has been done. Because obviously, when my club, Manchester United, won the treble back in 1999, of course, one of our greatest achievements. Obviously, we won the Champions League, Premier League, and currently FA Cup, of course. And City have won 4 trophies, of course, this season, if you want to count the Community Shield. But we'll get a glimpse of the highlights on that. So anyway, drop your comments, likes below on the channel. If you do consider subscribe, as always, and take care. God bless you all again very, very soon.